Tonight, a troubleshooter reports on some customer complaints about a local satellite installation company called SatView Satellite. And here's Al with his report for us.
Well, Don, you know, the problem is virtually anybody can hang up a sign and go into the satellite installation business. But as you'll see in this report, there's a little more to it than meets the eye. This satellite installation, located in the town of Hilton, looks normal. It jiggles and it wiggles, but its owner says it's been an outright miscarriage of justice. David Green says it even causes electrical shock.
In one state of time, there was a problem that, due to the faulty wiring, that actually caused electrical shock upon myself as trying to use it.
Green says it was poorly installed and built too close to the ground. So close, the dish can actually drag on the ground.
My 12-year-old son turned it on one time to watch it, and in trying to rotate the disc literally bent in half.
Green says his satellite dish was purchased and installed by SatView Satellite of West Ridge Road, the king of satellite dish installations in this area.
I've got more systems up and operating than everybody else combined. So when you get more people, you're going to have more problems.
And he was right. SatView Satellite does have other complaints. Because of their rural location 2 years ago, the Gillen family of Victor, New York also purchased a satellite dish from SatView.
For them.
But according to Kip Gillen,
since that time, since 1984, out of the total time that we've had the dish, we've had it actually working about 6 months.
And a close inspection of the Gillen's installation raises some serious questions about the quality of SatView's workmanship. In fact, a competitor says he's received 30 to 40 redos of SatView's installations.
We've had quite a few changeovers of actually redoing most of the systems. People complaining that no pictures and their dishes were falling over, and just very poor installation.
Reliable.
Not according to SatView's owner.
Bear in mind that my company is a referral business. If I did the kind of workmanship that you're describing, I'd be out of business a long time ago.
Well, obviously, we started on this story some time ago. That was 3 months ago. That's why you saw snow on the ground. Now, tomorrow, we'll take a close-up look at what some of SatView's customers are complaining about and why they feel they've been cheated. We'll be watching. Dick?
Okay, thanks, Al. Later tonight, during 13 Sports.
Customer complaints about SatView Satellite, a satellite dish installation company. Al has just arrived here in the past few moments, fresh from his investigative typewriter.
Yeah, I flew in on satellite myself for that one. You caught me getting ready there. Well, Don, you know, for the past several years, SatView Satellite has installed numerous dishes for customers throughout western New York. And the problem is, some of SatView's customers are still complaining months later. As we learned in our previous report, when a competitor of SatView was asked by the Gillens of Victor, New York, to analyze their satellite problems, he basically said it was a sloppy installation.
Well, what about the installation here? Do you think this is a good and adequate installation? Look at all these wires hanging around here.
No, absolutely not. The cable that he uses here are all bulk cables, which should be shielded in some sort of pipe. It's not a direct burial cable like we use. We have a direct burial cable that has everything right in one that can be put directly right into the ground.
This satellite dish is supposed to pick up 18 different satellites, 23,000 miles out into space. And the problem is, it doesn't pick up any.
There were a couple of problems with the mount. Actually, the concrete was never set up properly, so they had to come back and reinstall the concrete. And I guess the dish was turning right around as far as the whole pole right in the ground.
That was before it fell over, by the way. Before the dish actually fell over.
You mean the dish fell over?
On its side, yeah.
I've never had a dish fall over, sir.
You never had?
Never had a dish fall over.
Even after windstorms?
I've never had a dish fall over. Never.
But then we asked the owner of SatView about the sloppy appearance of his installations and why it took 6 follow-up service calls to the Gillens.
I want you to understand something and hear me loud and clear. Mr. Gillen, okay, is one of the type of people that God himself would have a hard time pleasing. So I made sure when I left this guy on March 22nd that he was working fine.
And what does Mike Dana call working fine?
Now this is the antenna control box. And according to the Gillens, SatView tried to solve a shorting out problem by doing this. They wrapped tinfoil around the fuse.
Later, Dana denied that he put it there, but when he pulled out a fuse from the same type of unit in his office, this freeze frame shows it had tinfoil wrapped around it too.
What is that?
This is our test unit here.
Yeah, but what'd you take
This
off?
piece of tinfoil. That fuse is blown.
Do you ever put tinfoil on?
No, we don't. No. And Mr. Gillen doesn't have any on his either. No, customers do not.
Well, Mr. Dana, when I was at Mr. Gillen's house, I pulled a fuse out from the back, that same slot on this unit in his house, and it had a piece of tinfoil on it.
No.
Well, and we also found out that the couple that we interviewed yesterday in yesterday's report, that they also alleged that they had tinfoil wrapped around the fuses in their units. Now, we caution that anybody who has a SatView installation that they should immediately check to see if they have tinfoil wrapped around your fuse, because if you do, it could be a fire safety hazard. Tinfoil should not be wrapped around fuses. Now, in the meantime, SatView says the majority of its installations are trouble-free. And when the Greens took SatView to court recently, the Greens lost. However, in the 3 months that we've been trying to resolve the issue with the Gillums and SatView, that issue has not been resolved. So time will only tell what the outcome will be when the Gillens try their case in court. And we'll be watching.
Thanks, Al. Later tonight from News Center.